He lost a key vote, and now the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is firmly wedged between a rock and a hard place. Does he choose his coalition camp and its supporters, or does he choose the rest of the country? The opposition says he has already made his decision.
Coalition MKs who went behind the screen and voted in favor of Karin al-Harar did not switch parties, nor receive any promises. They did it because they are decent people and are no longer willing to be part of the mechanism destroying Israeli society.
While the opposition may have won the recent nail-biting vote to put their representative on the Judicial Selection Committee, the judicial overhaul advocates aren't done yet. Some are trying to revive a unilateral policy that was previously put on hold by Netanyahu himself.
I call on the Prime Minister, the Minister of Justice, and the head of the Constitutional Committee to bring the proposal to change the Judicial Selection Committee back to its second and third reading. Reform now.
Others still want their name in the ring for the now month-long delayed vote for the second Parliament Judicial Selection Committee representative, which by tradition will go to a coalition member.
Not only will I not leave the faction, believe me, it's better for them that I don't leave. But I won't be sanctioned either. I'm sure that the right-wing voters will take to the streets, no less than how they came out in favor of the reform. We are statesmen. We don't keep our mouths shut.
Netanyahu once had the unique ability to completely alter the American administration's view on Iran to be in line with Israel's. Critics have questioned if he still has it in him to get his own coalition members in line. Others have accused him of secretly being in somewhat of an alignment with the opposition. Either way, all eyes are on the Israeli Prime Minister and his next move.
And Batya Leventhal joins us in the studio for more. And Batya, the big question here, Benjamin Netanyahu, the master politician, a big reason because he's kept an iron grip on the Likud and punished, expelled, forced out those that defied him. Is he losing that grip on his party?
Kalev, it's the interesting and most interesting question at the moment. And you even mentioned earlier in your lead who is running the show here. Both of those questions are something that both sides of the divide, both the opposition, both those who support and are against Netanyahu, want to know. Who actually has the grip on power here? And I'll tell you why this question is being pushed so much so, especially in the last couple of weeks in the Israeli media, and in particular after Wednesday's vote, which was surprising to say the least, is the very fact that the 4 members that seem to have voted against necessarily the coalition and for the opposition candidate that actually got her through and elected happen to come from the Likud party. So this is really quite amazing. We're talking about loyalists, people that have been in his party, that have had his back through thick and thin. A lot of people saying had Benjamin Netanyahu bowed out of politics a few years ago, he would have gone down as one of the greatest premiers in the country's history. But this need to hold on to power, and again, these are critics coming forward to say that his need to hold on to power has shown a really ugly side to him. What I think is more detrimental to any ugly side, there's always tricks, there's always some kind of political gamble that gets involved in games like this. What's really quite amusing, or at least quite horrifying for many of his voters, is the fact that his Likud, his loyalist base, seems to be crumbling at his very helm. So the question now is whether or not he has the power not just to rein in Ben Gvir and Smotrich and more of the hardliners within his coalition, not necessarily to align with the opposition as he has in the past with Yair Lapid, who I'll remind our viewers served as his finance minister in a government that he formed in 2013. But if he can hold his grip on his own party members in the Likud.
Right. I just want to know, we've had analysts in the studio for the past couple of months during this whole fight over the judicial reform. Some of them are saying the votes in the Likud are not there. But let's keep in mind, this was a secret ballot. Nobody openly, that may have been key here. Maybe nobody is openly defying Prime Minister Netanyahu at this stage.
Absolutely. And that's almost the problem. Like, you have someone like Itamar Ben Gvir saying that he wants to go back to the previous ruling, which was struck down in the winter session of the Knesset, saying that they want to just redo this law, the very way that they vote for judges to begin with, saying he now wants to bring that back to the fore so that he can pick out exactly which Likud members are now going against them, calling them not the stable right-wing government that they wanted to establish.
For the traders, we'll see how that plays out. Batya Leventhal, thank you for that.